What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns, riding along with Janine, my Xbox One character, in her Roosevelt, which she got back in February 2014, part of the time-limited holiday-themed DLC known as the Valentine's Day Massacre. In that DLC, she got the Roosevelt. You could also get the GeauxBurns, aka the Tommy gun, some pretty sweet-looking Valentine's-themed masks, some t-shirts, as well as fedoras, and of course, some really cool suits, and some other items as well. Now, a year later, that's right, going backward in time a little bit to February 2015, a lot of people were really hoping that Rockstar was going to re-release all that DLC because, as I mentioned, it was time limited. That means after a certain amount of time, a month, it went away. So if you bought it, you could keep it, like the Roosevelt, the GeauxBurns, everything else. If you didn't buy it, then tough luck. Now, bear in mind, we still had no idea back in early February when Heist was officially coming out. All Rockstar said was early 2015. That could have meant anything. That could have meant January, February, and of course March, which it finally did. So we were hoping that at the very least we would get a return of the Valentine's time limited DLC with all that content, and if we were lucky, maybe some new items as well. Alas, Valentine's week came and went, and we got nothing. Now, it was only a month later that we finally got the long-awaited Heist DLC for Grand Theft Auto Online. So there was a whole month right there that Rockstar could have put a DLC, and that is usually the case whenever we were having DLC rolled out back in spring 2014. For example, in March we got the Business, then in April a Capture Creator, May High Life, June I'm Not a Hipster, in July another holiday-themed time-limited DLC, Independence, August we had San Andreas Flight School, in early October we got The Last Team Standing, hoping that we might also get Halloween themed DLC by the end of the month. Unfortunately, Rockstar did not treat us to any Halloween content in 2014. Maybe 2015. We can only hope, right? Then, of course, the exclusive content that came out in November, along with the launch of Grand Theft Auto 5 and online for current gen, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One for all returning gamers. That technically counts. And, of course, the festive surprise in December. And today marks another holiday. That's right, Easter, or Passover, depending on what you happen to believe. Well, Passover for the rest of the week. But anyways, it would have been really cool if at the very least Rockstar would have done a little something for Easter. Similar to what they did on Christmas Day, for example. You logged on Christmas Day. Well, those of us lucky enough to log on prior to Lizard Squad's infamous DDoS attack, which crippled both networks for PlayStation and Xbox. However, Rockstar, to their credit, allowed gamers the ability for a few more days to log in and get their red stocking mask, which was really cool of them to do, and I would have liked to have seen them do that again today on Easter. Something simple, like maybe an Easter egg colored hockey mask, or perhaps a wicked Easter bunny mask, or maybe even some sexy bunny ears. To be perfectly honest, I was not expecting an Easter DLC to come out today, and I wasn't expecting one last year, even though I did kind of an Easter 2014 special, which was kind of funny. Well, I thought it was funny anyways, making fun of the whole idea of us expecting a DLC yet getting nothing in return. But it would have just been really cool to have actually got a nice surprise from Rockstar for simply logging in on Easter. And of course, a few weeks ago, back on St. Patrick's Day, maybe a green top hat with a four-leaf clover, or a t-shirt that says Lucky on it, green and white shirt, that'd be cool. But as I mentioned in last week's rant, I seriously think that Rockstar needs to reconsider the whole notion of time-limited DLCs. They should make all DLCs permanent, be it the standard ones like Heist or a future holiday-themed DLC. For example, let's just hypothetically say that there's going to be a new Independence DLC coming up in July. Maybe it'll be called something else, like the Revolution DLC, with historical-themed stuff like red coats, green coats, blue coats, tricorn hats, wigs, a musket pistol, a cavalry saber, along with all the content from last year's Independence DLC. This time around, I would like to see Rockstar just make all of that stuff permanent. The clothing, the masks, and there were some really cool masks last year in the Independence DLC, along with the Liberator monster truck, the Sovereign motorcycle, the musket, and of course, obviously, the firework rocket launcher, which Rockstar has brought back a few times already. Just make it permanent, because people like playing around with the firework rocket launcher, just like people like playing around with the flare gun. So many times I see gamers going around in missions or in free mode, just shooting off the flare gun when driving down the road, just for shits and giggles, or shooting NPCs, or having flare gun fights. The point is, while the flare gun and the firework rocket launcher are not exactly the best weapons to use in combat, neither is the musket unless you're like really good at it. They're just fun weapons that help make Grand Theft Auto Online an even more enjoyable experience, which is why I like the holiday-themed DLCs, because they add unique stuff. Items that you don't normally see in the Grand Theft Auto Online universe. Plus, a lot of gamers missed out on the opportunities to purchase the items from the Independence DLC, as well as the St. Valentine's Massacre DLC back in February 2014. And I sincerely believe, as someone who owns these items already, the Roosevelt, the Gusenberg, the fedoras, a few masks, the suits, I believe that everybody should have the opportunity to purchase all of these items. Another factor to consider is, in February 2014, there was only two consoles that Grand Theft Auto Online was on, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Since then, we now have three more consoles: Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and coming up April 14th, Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online finally comes to PC. Which means that there's obviously a lot of new gamers playing Grand Theft Auto Online, be it Xbox One, PlayStation 4, or in a few weeks on the PC. So it would be nice for them to have the opportunity to buy all of these items that they missed out on. And it would also be nice for some of us that missed out on purchasing the items because we didn't have enough money at the time. Not to mention that since February 2014, in addition to Janine, my main Xbox One character, I've created two other characters. My secondary character on Xbox One, Cynthia, and of course my PS4 character, GB. And they both missed out on the ability to have some of the Valentine's items. And yes, I was planning on buying Cynthia and GB a Gusenberg. That's right, I wanted to get them both a Tommy gun for Valentine's Day, but unfortunately, there was no Valentine's DLC, and their poor pixelated hearts were broken because they did not get a Valentine's gift. I know, and I'm just being silly there, but the point is, I would like to see these items permanent. As I mentioned last week, most gamers would rather have the ability to go to Legendary Motorsports and actually buy the Roosevelt in its full glory than the modded, duped, glitched version that I've seen too many times. And I know exactly what that version looks like. And yes, I realize there's always going to be gamers that are into that sort of thing, that love glitching, they love modding items in from story mode, and they love doing that sort of thing. But that does not make up the majority of the gamers of Grand Theft Auto Online. If they had the means to get these various holiday-themed DLCs, or unique clothing items and vehicles like the police uniforms, the garbage uniforms, the duffel bags, and of course the Lost Slam van, then less gamers would feel inclined to have to go through desperate means of glitching and modding and duping in order to get the items that they want. Overall, it would make the gaming community a lot happier, and it would make Rockstar happier because they'd have less of these glitches and dupes and mods to deal with. While it might sound like I am critical of Rockstar, I absolutely love them as a gaming company. I consider them one of the best out there. They've put out more content for Grand Theft Auto Online than most other gaming companies done, and they've done it for quote-unquote free, with the exception of you having to actually grind missions, captures, death matches, heists, or get shark cards in order to purchase the new items. But the point is, they're hard at work trying to make us happy, making new content coming up down the road. Some new online DLCs hopefully in the near future, perhaps even a massive story DLC. If previous games are any indication, like Grand Theft Auto 4 with Lost in the Damned, Ballad of Gay Tony, as well as Red Dead Redemption with Undead Nightmare, I think that a story DLC is going to be epic for Grand Theft Auto 5. So I realize they're busy, they got a lot on their plate right now. And look, I'm not asking for a holiday-themed DLC with every single holiday that's out there, because obviously there's so many out there, and a lot of them are religious, and I know Rockstar is going to stay away from those. But as long as they bring back the Independence DLC in July, along with some new items maybe, and finally a Halloween DLC in October, that would make me a very happy schoolgirl indeed. And by the way, schoolgirl outfits for Janine, Very nice. And of course, the Trevor dresses as well. I've mentioned that a time or two, Rockstar. I hope you've got those emails. Anyways, let me know below in the comment section. What do you think of holiday DLCs? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you think that they should remain time limited, or do you think that they should just be made straight up permanent like all the other updates in the game? And if you could pick the holiday that Rockstar would roll out a DLC to revolve around, which holiday would it be, and what items would you like to see in that DLC?